Hey guys, I'm glad you're here. Today's project is this Husqvarna trimmer. And the problem is that it won't start. We do know some history about this trimmer, so let's take a good look at it and see if we can figure out what the problem is and fix it. Straight shaft trimmers aren't for everyone, but most taller people seem to prefer them. The good part about this trimmer is that you can put different attachments on it. So if you want a curved shaft, then you can change it out and put one on. So here's the history on this trimmer. It was last used about 2 years ago, and then it was put up in the garage. There is a good chance though that it was ran dry before storage. So there's also a good chance that the carburetor is in working condition. But unfortunately it didn't start this season. Let's start by checking for compression. Slowly pull on the rope and make sure you can feel the engine fight back. Well, it seems to have decent compression, so let's move on to the air filter and see if it's clogged up with dirt. Well, it's dirty, but it's not enough to keep air from flowing through it. Let's check to make sure the engine even runs by putting some fuel in the throat of the carburetor and then try starting it. Well, it ran for quite a long time and it sounded just fine. I am curious, let's put some gas into the fuel tank, try priming the fuel system, and try starting it. Okay, I see our first problem. The primer bulb isn't working. The problem could be related to the carburetor, the fuel lines, or even the primer bulb itself. Let's take off the air filter base and get to the carburetor. With the base off, we can get a better shot of the primer bulb in action. Well, it's a little slow to react, and if we take a really close look, we can see small cracks in the bulb. This is a pretty good reason as to why it's not starting, as the fuel isn't making its way to the carburetor. Let's do something a little different. Instead of going through the carburetor, let's just replace the cracked primer bulb and try priming the fuel system once again. And after pressing the primer bulb only a few times, we can already see it filling up with fuel almost immediately. So here's the old bulb, and as you can see, it's still in one piece. I usually see these crack in the middle. I've never seen them crack like this. Now that the fuel system is primed, let's replace the air filter base since it holds the carburetor against the engine, and try starting it again. Well, the engine seems to be running just fine, so it seems like the primer bulb was the reason why the engine wasn't starting after all. However, it looks like we have another problem. The trimmer head doesn't spin with the engine. Since this problem was a surprise, I'm not prepared to fix it, so we'll have to look at it at another time. I'm not going to introduce a problem without being able to solve it for you guys. And since we're not going to use this trimmer anytime soon, it's good practice to pour out your fuel and run your equipment dry so you don't have any carburetor issues later on. So my question to you is, do you prefer straight shaft trimmers or curved shafts? Or does it even really matter? I'm interested in hearing what you have to say.
Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please feel free to ask any questions, and I hope to see you in my next video.